By no means is this a perfect watch, but it is a really strong watch. It kind of has a cult following within the watch enthusiast community, the Hamilton Khaki King, or as I used to refer to mine as the King. Robert and I, Random Rob, we both bought Hamilton Khaki Kings, I don't know, maybe around 3 years ago. And we would send each other pictures like, hey, I'm wearing the King today. Because this watch it's just such a satisfying watch in terms of value. What you're paying versus what you're getting. It's a strong offering, but again, by no means is this a perfect piece. It's just a really satisfying design. So today we're going to be reviewing the latest generation of the Khaki King, which comes in a stealth style, a blackout PVD treated iteration. This is a Swatch Group product. Hamilton is considered the entry level brand in their hierarchy when it comes to the group. So it will have negative elements that you do find improved on some of their higher end brands. And I think that is all by design. So my negative elements here that I'm going to discuss in this review, I think it's deliberate on the Swatch Group's part, but we'll get into that here throughout the course of the video. I want to thank Mimo's Jewelry for lending this in. Mimo is awesome. He's an authorized dealer for a number of brands in Long Beach, California, and he's been loaning in Hamilton and Seiko for years now. So a link to his website's in the description, as well as the discount code for my viewers. So if you're shopping for a good deal on a Hamilton or a Seiko or another brand, definitely check out the discount code in the description. So let's talk details. Let's talk dimensions. Let's talk about the good elements and the negative elements. I really enjoy the size here, the fit of the Khaki King, the versatility, and just how balanced this is. I look at the Khaki Field line, and like a lot of watch enthusiasts, I think it's missing something. You're generally either looking at the 38mm Khaki Field or a 42mm variation. 38's a little bit too small for some of us in this hobby, and 42 just plays a bit too dominant and large on wrist. So the fact that the Khaki Field King is 40, I think just hits the sweet spot in between the two sizes. It works on a wide range of wrists, and I think it's more balanced and more proportional than either one of those two sizes. I like the fact that this does carry crown guard, so it's a little bit different from the standard Khaki Field. It carries more of an aggressive or sporty feel, especially in the PVD treatment here, because the case and the bezel is all brushed as opposed to a polished bezel in the untreated stainless steel variation. So aesthetically, I think this is sharp. Size-wise, I think it's ideal. And comfort-wise, versatility-wise, I think it's just a very strong offering. Let's go in on the dial on a macro level. You guys can see a fairly sophisticated dial, and that is a theme with this watch. For the prices that they sell for, right around $500, you do get quite a bit. So we have a sunray dial here in the center portion, and then on the outer track, you guys can see very fine concentric circle guilloche texturing as the backdrop for these very simple printed C1 Arabic markers here. Very symmetrical layout. If we look just inside of the Arabic markers, you guys can see a ring of 24-hour Arabic indexing, which is nice to see. Your day and your date complication is up at the top of the dial. There is an instantaneous date changeover feature at midnight, which is pretty impressive if you take the opportunity to do that quick date change or view the quick date change at midnight. So it's kind of fun to look at. And then notice the length of the hands. They reach all the way to the end of the dial. Very substantial, very easy to read at a glance in that respect. So I like the simplicity. I like the balanced design. I really like the brushed bezel here on the blackout version. And this watch does come with a wood presentation box. So really going back to the opening sentiment here, this is quite a lot of watch for roughly $500. You're getting an ETA modified movement. This is called the H40, which essentially is a 2824 that is modified with the day and the date complication. And then it carries a 3 hertz beat frequency as opposed to 4 hertz that comes on a standard 2824. So the seconds hand does, kind of stutter a little bit more, and that is noticeable. It's not a huge deal, but the nice thing here is we have a free sprung balance and an 80-hour power reserve, which again, for the price is very strong. And I like the fact that I can, wear a few watches in rotation, and I can go to my safe or my watch box after a couple days and this is still going. So the 8-hour power reserve is a big plus for me. If I compare it to other watches around $500, on the high end, maybe from a micro brand, we're getting a Solita, which I still rank below this H40 caliber. And you might be getting a Miyota with a wobble. You might be getting the notorious NH35 from Seiko. So I really think the movement is adding a significant part of the value to this overall package. But again, this is by no means perfect. There are some really frustrating elements here, but again, that might be by design, just by the fact that this is an entry-level product within the Swatch group. Those two things are going to be the Lume. This is C1 Lume. It definitely could be better. It has great potency initially, but really after about 30 minutes, it's very hard to distinguish. So I would love to see BGW9 or a new X1 variation of a Superluminova formula. So that could be improved. And then the other thing, and this is the big element for me, is the lack of anti-reflective treatment on this domed sapphire crystal. And it really has given my Canon fits to try to photograph or video. Same with my Google Pixel as well. And that's not something you want on a field watch. A field watch, one of its main aspects or elements is easy to read, very easy to look at a glance, right? It's functional. This technically could be a tactical watch. So the fact that it's kind of distracting, like the reflections are so crisp, so crisp and so defined, it's almost mirror-like. That is very disappointing. So if Hamilton could just do a couple things, better lume and really good anti-reflective treatment, this watch would go from being a 7 or an 8 all the way to being a 9 or a 10. Like, it would be a significant jump in overall user experience from a consumer aspect. But going back, this is an entry-level watch, and they don't do some of the things that they do really well on some of their more premium or luxury products. So I'm sure it's by design. They're trying to meet a price point. But let me ask you guys this question, and I'm really curious to see what your opinions are. Would you buy Hamilton Khaki King if it was, say, $200 more expensive? So maybe you're spending $700 or maybe $800 on the high end, but instead of getting C1, you're getting great BGW9. Instead of getting no anti-reflective treatment, you're getting fantastic anti-reflective treatment. And instead of getting a physical vapor deposition here, this black coating, instead of getting PVD, you're getting a diamond-like carbon coating, or DLC, so it's very hard to scratch. Would you guys be interested in paying a premium for getting some changes here that really enhance the everyday experience and usability of the Khaki King? For myself, I think that the premium would be very welcome. I would pay that to get a better watch. But again, it might price itself out of a lot of people that love the $500 or less price segment. I know when I was getting into watches, I didn't go over $500. I was really looking at a lot of models sub 500. So, there does need to be a good model that helps get watch enthusiasts into the hobby. But I wonder if this one could not be one of those, if it would be so much better with a few changes and, obviously a premium in price. Hopefully nothing too drastic, but I'd love to hear your guys' opinions there. Overall, this, again, is a very strong, balanced, versatile design. I think it's easy to see why this kind of has a cult following in the watch enthusiast community. It's well regarded, even though it does have warts and it does have shortcomings. Hopefully I've been fair to this and you guys can really have a good sense of what this watch is all about. So thanks for watching. Again, if you're shopping for Hamilton, I'll put a link to Mimo's jewelry here in the description. There is that discount code available for those of you shopping. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you think about this Stealth Khaki King from the Field line, from the Swatch Group product. Thanks very much for watching today, guys, and I'll see you next time.